Astral Constellations of the Majickal Zodiac is the latest full-length, well, it's the latest release from Esoctrilihum, but it is a triple LP. It's a 3 album release all at once, and it is a concept album. Now, this is a avant-garde or experimental black metal project from Astraal, who is a French fellow who really makes a point to do everything himself. The only thing that really has been done differently this time around uh, is that he's had someone else help with the sound design and the mix and the master of the record. So in a way, we get 3 new records from this project that has released about 7 new things in the last like 2 or so years. That does a really great job of kind of erasing a lot of the bad taste that was left in my particular mouth, where the last 3 full-length releases were just kind of mediocre for my taste. Now, these aren't that different, but they are just more effective work overall. Not to cut right to the lead here, but in many ways, what Esoctrilihum had developed on their first 5 or so LPs shines through here on the latest one. And I think through iteration, he's managed to find, or at least better recognize and dump all at once some of his best ideas, some of the best traits of his work, and condense that into this monster of a triple LP, which rounds out at about 130 minutes. Now, I'm going to play a clip now, but understand that there's no way that just a couple of clips could represent more than 2 hours of music. So, at the very least, we'll get a sense for the sound design and the voicing of the artist. So I'll probably have to take a couple of breaks in between to share a couple of extra clips here because there's so much of it. But at the very least, we could say what Esoctrilihum is generally relates to the experimental and iterative nature of Blue Dust Nord, the kind of inventive use of black death metal in later Leviathan, as well as Abigor's general mindset on a lot of their more involved and avant-garde releases. That's just where you could start with it. That is not necessarily what the major influences of the band is, but understand that this is a person with a ton of enthusiasm for music in general, and I would say dark music that is adventurous in its thoughts and its themes, and certainly confrontational music. So he just as well mentions a death thrash metal record from 1992 next to a symphonic black metal record from 1996. So that's reflected in a lot of his own work, and it also generally relates to this space opera, as it were, which is a complete overdose of everything this band has been about, and certainly recalls all the best moments that we found on um, the Telluric Ashes of Birth, Immemorial Gods, Eternity of Shaug, and especially Dieth Requiem for the Serpent Telepath. Those were 3 records between 2018 and 2021, which were sort of the peak of the major popularity of the band on the internet, right? So there are 3 albums to get to here. I don't know if I really need to detail all of these, but the main notes are that the melodic side of the band is further developed in a sort of cosmic pastiche on the first disc. On the second disc, we get a more aggressive, sort of a black thrash and absu influenced touch to that same melodic sound, which still features keyboards quite prominently. In the third disc, we get 21-minute songs, which they sort of digest all of those ideas into 2 epics, and in a way that it's a bit of overkill. They could have gone with a double record. I think that the third one shows that there's still a little bit of the death metal side of the band in there, and that the symphonic black metal interest hasn't overtaken the full vernacular of the band. And we do get some of the death metal vocals that he is so good at, which I really like. And we almost get kind of a Death Doom moment on one of the songs, and uh, it's sort of a teaser of all the things I really liked about some of the past releases, condensed into the final thoughts of the third record. So there, if you ever nerded out about the details on some of the past records that I reference, all of that is here in a condensed form. So it isn't that he's gone for quantity over quality. He's just simply put quality work into all of this quantity while he was releasing 7 other records in the meantime. So um, I know it's easy to question the prolific nature of an artist, whether any of it really matters. I would say that there's definitely everything here is superior to the last 3 records that he released. And I think that this was a matter of making a grand opus out of all the best works, which took about 2.5 years to put together in terms of these 3 records. And a lot of the stuff that released in the interim just wasn't as good. So if you didn't like anything past the Serpent Telepath record, pick this one up, because it makes up for the last couple of years of kind of just okay releases. Um, so my score here, I have to preface that when I say the lasting value of this record is 7.5, I say that with experience with triple albums where um, something always falls behind in the wayside. And I won't necessarily crack open that package, because a box set is kind of doomed to always sit there and be a lot to take in. So as like a Bandcamp purchase, I could certainly see myself burning through all of these at once every once in a while to sort of create that sensation of awe. But if I was just going to hone in on the good stuff, I'd probably only ever spin the first 2 records on repeat in the disc form. So that's just my way of listening to music. That might not translate to your experience. The only note that I would give is if this seems like too much to take on, it really is even better to enjoy this record as 3 pieces separately in different listening, just as separate listening experiences. So give that a try if it just seems like 130 minutes of music is just ridiculous. And I know that his voice can really grate, because he has that kind of vomited black metal vocal going on for most of the 3 records. So anyway, there is a lot more to say. There's a lot more in the written review, and there's probably a lot more I could continue saying about this record. I won't say that it is the greatest thing to come out this year or anything, but I do think there's some of his best work in this record, and it won't be hard to find it if you just pick it up and give it a try. So check it out tomorrow and see what you think.